Autumn Sinclair stood in her small kitchen, staring at her phone like it was a storm cloud. The title single mom sent a desperate message to the wrong man. Then a millionaire knocked on her door saying, felt like the line of a strange story, but it was her life now. She had just typed a message to her friend from the daycare, begging for help. Jane, please. The girls are sick again. I can't miss another day of work. Can you cover for me? She hit send. Her thumb shook. She looked over at the little couch in the living room. Leia whimpered in her sleep, under a worn fleece blanket. Wren lay beside her, clutching a stuffed bunny with one ear torn. Their cheeks were too hot. Their breathing was too fast. The apartment was too quiet, the way rooms get when fear is sitting in them. Her phone buzzed. She grabbed it so fast she almost dropped it. But it wasn't Jane. It said, "This isn't Jane, but I think we need to talk about the kids." Autumn froze. The number was new. The area code said Portland. Her stomach dropped like an elevator. Wrong number. Has to be. She typed, "Sorry, wrong number." No reply came. She tried to push the worry away. She squeezed the cloth with cool water and wiped Leia's forehead. She hummed a soft tune. She moved to Wren, kissed her hot cheek, and said, "Mommy's here. You're safe." But her hands were unsteady. That message sat inside her mind like a whisper at the door that wouldn't stop. 12 miles across the city. A man stood by a wide window in a high apartment. His name was Landon Carter. He was tall, quiet, and careful. He looked at the text again. The girls are sick again. Leia and Wren. He knew those names, even though he had never met the girls. 2 years ago, he had been a donor at a fertility clinic. One success had been reported. A single mother had twins. He had stayed away because papers said to stay away. He had told himself this was best, that boundaries were love too. But now, a wrong text had reached his private number, a number only a few people had. How could that happen? He did not believe in magic. He believed in cause and effect, in patterns and code. But he also believed in a faint pull that sometimes visits the heart at night and will not let go. He made a call. He drove. He did not know yet what he would say. He only knew he could not pretend he did not see those names. The next morning, a soft knock came at Autumn's door, at 8:07 a.m., just as she finished rinsing a bottle. She wiped her hands and checked the peephole. A man stood outside in a dark wool coat. He held a phone and a folded paper. His face was calm, but not blank. He looked human, almost tired, like someone who had been thinking too long. She opened the door a crack. "Yes." He lifted his eyes. "I'm sorry to come unannounced," he said, his voice even. "But we need to talk about the girls." Her chest grabbed tight. She moved to close the door, but his hand stopped. It not hard, not rough, just enough. "My name is Landon Carter," he said. "I received your message by mistake." Autumn's throat dried. "You're that number." He nodded. "I am. And I think Leia and Wren might be my biological daughters." The hallway went still. The sound in Autumn's ears turned to wind. "What did you say?" she whispered. He spoke gently. "I donated at a clinic 3 years ago. There was a confirmed birth. Twins. I never planned to meet them, but when your message came to me, I couldn't ignore it. I have known of you. I kept my distance. If I am wrong, I will leave. If I am right, I only want to make sure the girls are okay." Another cough came from the living room. Landon flinched, but not from guilt, more like a man hearing a fire alarm in another room. Autumn looked toward the sound, then back at him. "You need to leave." He nodded. "I will." He reached into his coat and held out a sealed envelope. "Please take this," he said. "It says what I can't say." "Well," she hesitated, then took it and shut the door. She leaned her back against the wood and stared at the letter like it was warm coals. Then she opened it with careful fingers. Inside was a single handwritten page. The writing was neat, not fancy. It said, "If I'm wrong, I will walk away. If I'm right, then I want to listen. I am not here to claim anything. I only want what is good for the girls and for you. I will respect your wishes. I will not push. If you have any reason to talk, call me. If not, I wish you peace. Landon. Autumn stared at the words until her vision blurred. She turned to her girls. Ren slept. Leia hummed in a soft dream. Autumn kissed their foreheads and sat down at the table. Her heart pounded in her neck. She thought of the clinic form she had signed. She thought of the past year of sickness and worry and bills. She thought of how thin her hope had become. 2 hours later, she opened the door and stepped into the cold morning. The man in the wool coat was still parked on the street in a black sedan. He looked up the second she appeared. She spoke first. You know their names, she said. You know too much. He got out, not fast, not slow. May I come in? She weighed the risk. She weighed the truth. Then she nodded. Inside, Autumn poured 2 glasses of water. Her hand shook on the second glass. I thought you were a scammer, she said, sliding it to him. People read stories. They learn I used a donor. They try things. Landon nodded. I would think the same, he said. But I heard the girls' names. They matched the clinic's update I received years ago. I never asked for contact. I never asked for you. I asked for basic medical info, in case I needed to share a health change. I learned there had been a birth. Twins. No partner listed. He reached into his coat and took out a folder. This confirms my donation was used for a successful IVF. Same clinic. Same date range. Autumn opened it. She saw dates, stamps, a donor number. 1175B, he said quietly. That was me. She swallowed. I picked that profile because it said the donor liked classical music and worked with kids, she said. I wanted kindness in their blood. A small silence fell. I didn't plan to be alone, she said softly. But life closed doors and left me in a hallway. Landon did not interrupt. My father's company went down. Lies, lawsuits, headlines, she said. I lost my job. People looked at my stomach and my last name and judged me. I left the city. I thought I could handle it. I did. But some days I can't. She looked at the hallway where the girls lay. Some days I am a dam with cracks. Landon's jaw worked once. I didn't know, he said. Why would you? She replied, tired and sharp. You were just the DNA. He met her eyes. We both know it's not just that now, he said. She hated how those words made her want to cry. She hated that the idea of help felt like both a gift and a trap. She saw him seeing her really seeing, and it scared her more than the money, more than the rules. She folded the folder closed. What do you want? She asked. I want you to tell me what you need, he said. And if that is go away, I will go. Days passed. Landon did not press. He sent one message each morning. It never asked for entry. It asked for facts. Fevers today. Eating anything. Drinking water. I know a clinic that is private. Autumn did not answer at first. Then one night, when Ren's cough turned bark-like and Leia's breath came ragged, she messaged back, what clinic? The next morning, a private pediatric office tucked behind big trees took them in. The waiting room had beanbags and soft light. There were books, puzzles, and a wall painted with a whale. A nurse said both girls' names, with a smile like she had been saying those names all week. Autumn looked at Landon. He did not explain. He did not show off. He only sat with hands folded and waited to be told what to do. The doctor was gentle. He checked throats and listened to chests. He asked not only, where does it hurt, but also, what do you like to play? He looked at Autumn and said, they're okay, worn down, mild asthma signs, likely triggered by damp and dust. He asked about their building. Autumn closed her eyes. It smells like the hallway leaks, she said. It does, the doctor replied. I can write a note for the landlord. You also need a filter for the bedroom. An air filter can help a lot. On the way home, the girls slept in their seats, mouths open. Autumn watched the road ahead over Landon's shoulder. He drove with both hands on the wheel. He did not talk. He did not glance back to see if she was looking at him. He drove like a man delivering a precious thing, and she did not know what to do with the way that made her feel. That night, a brown paper bag sat at her door. No note. Inside were 2 small pairs of slippers, one pink, one blue. There were soft blocks, a memory game, and a canister of formula she could never afford. There was also a small plastic puppy for Wren and a tiny crown for Leia. Autumn sat on the floor and cried, quietly, into her hands. It was not the price, it was the care. The slippers were not the same color. It meant someone thought about each child, not just the twins. The next day, Landon texted, "I left something by your door." No need to reply. She did not reply. She made oatmeal. She tucked the slippers on little feet. She watched them walk to the couch, happy, and she whispered, "Thank you." To no one, and to him, and to love itself for remembering her address. The first turning point came the following week. It was a simple day. The sky was clear. The girls were giggling. Autumn had enough coins for milk and apples. She pushed the double stroller through the co-op market. That was when she heard a voice. "You think it's an accident? She texts a rich guy at the perfect time, and now he's buying her diapers." Autumn kept walking. The voice followed. She used a donor. Now she wants the donor to be a dad. Smart. Cinderella with a budget plan. The words stuck like burrs. Autumn didn't stop, but her face went hot. Her lungs got small. She paid for her groceries and left. That night, Landon brought soup and a penguin book. He saw the tightness in her shoulders and asked, "What happened?" She told him. The ugly words. The look. The old friend turned. "Stranger. I know I should ignore them," she said. "But I hate feeling dirty for receiving simple help." Landon listened. Then he gave her an invitation card. "Celebrate Single Mother's An Evening of Resilience," it read. "I started this event last year," he said. "I was going to ask you anyway. You don't have to speak. You can just sit in the back and listen, or leave if it hurts. But if you want to stand on a stage and tell your truth, there will be a microphone waiting. No one can twist your story if you hold it in your own hands." The second turning point arrived before the event. Wren woke up wheezing one night. The sound was sharp, like a whistle in a tunnel. Leia coughed until she vomited. Autumn held both girls and whispered, I'm here, I'm here." But fear rose like floodwater. She texted Landon, "Help. They can't breathe." He arrived fast. He carried a small, sealed box. It was a portable nebulizer and an inhaler the doctor had prescribed, just in case, and Landon had already paid for. He set the machine on the table, washed his hands, and asked, "May I?" Autumn nodded. He showed her how to fill the cup and fit the mask. He knelt on the floor with Wren while the small machine hummed. He told a silly story about a brave bunny who hugged a cloud to trap it. Wren giggled into the mask. Leia climbed into Autumn's lap with the second mask, and they did the treatment together. The sound of air and medicine filled the small room. Slowly the wheeze softened. The cough calmed. After, Landon set up an air filter in the bedroom. "This will help," he said. He did not look proud. He looked like a man fixing a leak. Autumn sat on the edge of the bed and covered her face with both hands. "I can't owe you this much," she said. "You don't," he said. "This is not a ledger. It's a circle. They breathe, you breathe. Then I breathe too." She looked up. "Why are you like this?" she asked, half teasing, half afraid. He shrugged once. "Someone was like this to me when I was small," he said. "A coach who had nothing but time. He changed my whole life and never asked for anything back. I don't want to keep score." He stood. "But I will always ask your yes." He glanced at the door. "So today, is it okay if I stay on the couch until they settle?" Autumn nodded. Yes, she said, voice soft. It's okay. The third turning point came on the night of the event. The hall was warm with hanging lights and paper stars. There were chairs for hundreds, and most were full. Women held babies and sipped tea and wiped tears while nodding at one another. Autumn sat in the second row with Leia and Ren. Landon stood near the side, hands in his pockets, eyes on the crowd. He looked more nervous than anyone else. An organizer asked Autumn if she wanted to share. Autumn felt her throat shut. She shook her head, then stopped. She remembered the women at the apples. She thought of other mouths like theirs, in other stores, saying other words, cutting other hearts. She stood. She walked to the stage. She held the microphone with both hands like a candle. I didn't plan to be a single mom, she began, simple and true. But when the plan fell apart, I still had love, so I followed love. She told a short version of her story. Low ovarian reserve, lonely nights, a last name turned into a headline, a job lost, a move to a small place with thin walls and a strong will. People say help makes you weak, she said, but I learned help is like a bridge. You still have to walk. Help doesn't carry you. It lets you cross. She looked at her girls. They were on the floor near the front row, drawing with donated crayons. Being a mom didn't break me, she said. It rebuilt me. The room rose to their feet, not loud at first, then louder, a wave. Autumn's eyes found Len. He wasn't clapping yet. He had both hands over his mouth, like a man trying to catch his breath. Then he clapped once, twice, and the sound echoed like a drum. After the event, word spread. Some people cheered. Some people sneered. A small blog wrote a soft piece. Wrong text, right kindness. A bigger website wrote a sharper one. Millionaire meets donor twins, fairy tale or plan. Old photos of Autumn from a life she'd left showed up online. Comments, the kind that scratch. Her landlord saw the buzz and decided to hike the rent. Your place is hot now, he said with a smirk. Media girl discount. No, media girl fee. She packed to cry but didn't. She called the tenant advice line. Landon's foundation supplied at the event. A volunteer lawyer taught her the right words to say. She said them. The landlord backed down. Still, the attention kept growing. TV show wanted an interview. Autumn said no. A man messaged her on social media, pretending to be a friend of Landon's, and asked for photos of the girls for legal reasons. She ignored him. He sent ugly names. Landon reported the account. It disappeared. Then a letter came in the mail. It was from the old clinic. A clerical audit. It said a data system might have been accessed 2 years ago. No names listed, but some donors' numbers were matched by a third party. Autumn's hands shook as she read. Her girl's safety felt like glass. She texted Landon a photo of the letter. He called at once. I'm coming over, he said. No press, no one, just me. He showed up with a quiet man from his legal team and a woman who ran security for his company. They did not bring cameras or contracts. They brought a plan. Freeze credit, save passwords, block trackers. Keep names of the girls off all lists. Speak only to the clinic through a lawyer. The 2 staff left after an hour. Landon stayed and washed the dinner dishes. When Autumn thanked him, he shook his head. I don't want thanks, he said. I want them safe. Then came the hardest night. It was late. Rain hit the windows, like fingers. Ren woke crying and clutching her stomach. Leia coughed and coughed until her lips went pale. The nebulizer helped some, but not enough. Autumn's fear rose again, bigger this time. She called Landon, and they drove to the hospital. The emergency room was bright and loud. Nurses moved fast. A doctor listened to Ren's belly and ordered an ultrasound. He listened to Leia's lungs and gave her oxygen. Autumn stood with both hands on both gurneys, trying to be 2 people at once. Landon stood behind her, close enough to feel like a wall, and far enough to not be in the way. Hours stretched. Finally, the doctor returned. Ren has a small interception, he said. A part of the intestine has folded into itself. It can sometimes fix with a special air enema. If not, we need surgery. Autumn heard the words like a bell underwater. Is she in danger? She asked. We caught it early, he said. She is in pain, but she is stable, and we are ready. They wheeled Ren away. Leia looked up at Autumn with wide eyes. Mommy? Autumn bent low. You're safe, she said. Mr. Landon will stay with you while I go with Ren. Leia nodded, scared but brave. She took Landon's hand. He squeezed gently, like holding a bird. In the procedure room, Autumn stood by Ren's head. The team worked with focus and care. The machine hissed. Ren cried out. Autumn sang. The monitor beeped. The doctor said, "There," with soft relief. It opened. We got it. Autumn put her forehead on her daughter's. Heron shook with held-in sobs. Back in the ER, Leia slept with a small mask on her face. Landon sat beside her, still as a stone, eyes on both doors at once, like a man guarding a lighthouse. Morning came gray and thin. They drove home with medicine and instructions. Landon helped carry the bag of supplies. He tucked a note from the doctor's office into the folder with the clinic letters and legal papers. We will file the complaint against the clinic's data breach, he said. We will also ask for better safety measures for future families. Autumn nodded, tired but strong. She saw him look at the girls, at their small bodies wrapped in blankets, at their sleepy eyes, at the tiny red marks from ivy tape. She saw something break open in him. It was not loud. It was not dramatic. It was quiet and deep, like ice thawing. He touched the doorframe with his hand, as if making a promise to the air. Then he left them to rest because he knew good help also knows when to go home. Time passed with steady steps. Weeks turned to months. The apartment felt smaller. The girls got stronger. Leia learned to draw butterflies that looked like hearts. Ren learned to count to 50, and then pretended she forgot 40 on purpose because it sounded mean. Autumn's art shop began to bring in orders. She drew family portraits from photos sent by email. She drew kitchens and gardens, and a picture of a dog named Toast. Landon visited after work sometimes. He learned to make pancakes that were somehow rounder than the ones Autumn made, and this made the girls laugh. He was never the loudest person in the room. He did not fill every silence. He brought presents like a chair brought support you. Don't think about it until it's gone. One Saturday, he showed up with seeds in small pots. They planted herbs on the window ledge. What is this one? Ren asked. Basil, Landon said. It smells like pizza. She sniffed. It smells like green. Leia pressed dirt gently with a spoon. We will water them, she said. We will be careful. Landon smiled. Yes, that is the whole job. One day, a letter came from a law office representing the fertility clinic. It said, in careful words, that some information was accessed years ago, but they were improving systems now. It also said that donors and recipients should keep contact within legal rules. The words were not cruel, but they were cold. Autumn looked at the paper and felt heat rise in her. She had kept every rule. She had asked for nothing she didn't need. She had made her whole life inside lines drawn by other people, and still, she had been blamed. She placed the letter on the table. She called Landon. I'm done hiding, she said. I won't do interviews. I won't let people turn us into a show. But I won't pretend this didn't happen. He said, okay. She took a breath. I want to write one piece, she said. Not about you, about the girls, about safety, about clinics, about how to be kind when rules fail. I want your foundation to post it. I want to add a list at the end, numbers, steps, words to say. To landlords, hospitals, anyone. Landon was quiet for a second. I will ask the team to make space for your voice, he said. Not with my name on top, with yours. She wrote the piece on a rainy night while the girls slept. She used small words because she wanted tired people to be able to read it. She told the truth. She did not use the big title that would get clicks. She used the one that would help. It began, when you feel alone, you are not. When you need help, that need is not a flaw. It is a door. The piece went up. People shared it. Some argued. Many thanked her. 2 mothers sent her long messages, saying they had been brave enough to ask for air filters because of her words. That was enough. More than enough. As spring turned to early summer, Landon asked to cook dinner for all 3 of them at his place. Autumn said yes, and then felt scared, and then felt brave. His home was not the big mansion people might imagine. It was clean and warm, full of books and plants, and a piano. He wore an apron that said yes, chef, and it made Ren laugh. He let the girls stir sauce with wooden spoons. He let them taste fresh basil and make faces, and then ask for more. After dinner, Leia asked him to play something. He sat at the piano and played a tune that sounded like light falling on water. The girls danced. Autumn washed dishes in the kitchen and looked up to find Landon beside her with a towel. Their fingers touched at the edge of a plate. Neither moved for a breath. Then both moved at once, shy and smiling. On the way home, the girls fell asleep in the back seat. Autumn stood with Landon on her small porch and said, "Thank you," he said, "for dinner." She shook her head, for being the one who shows up. He looked down, then back at her. "I like being that," he said. "I like that more than almost anything I've done." She swallowed. "Me too." There was a last old shadow to deal with, her father's scandal. A man from a past case found her on the sidewalk one afternoon and threw words like stones. "Your family stole our savings," he said. "You think a sad story makes it fine." Autumn stood still. She had apologized before 2 people like him, in letters and through lawyers. She had not committed the crime. She had not touched any money, but the shame felt like a coat she couldn't take off. Landon happened to be across the street, stepping out of a coffee shop. He saw the man. He walked over, not angry, not loud. "Sir," he said, "you are in pain, but you are speaking to the wrong person. This is a mother walking with her children. This is not a courtroom." The man looked like he might shout more. Then he looked at the 2 small girls holding hands. He swallowed. He left. Autumn sagged against the wall. Landon did not chase the stranger. He just stood beside her until her breath steadied. "You do not own your father's sins," he said. "You own your next step." She nodded. "Sometimes I forget." By late summer, new routines had formed. Landon worked fewer hours at his company and more hours at a small lab he funded. One that built quiet tech for kids' devices to help detect asthma flare-ups, early child-safe monitors that didn't spy. He came to dinner twice a week. He learned how Leia liked her toast cut into 4 small squares. He learned that Ren hated loud blenders. He brought no grand gifts. He brought steady time. Autumn's art shop grew strong enough that she could move her work table out of the kitchen and into a corner by the window, where the light was better. A friend asked her to paint a mural of growing vines at a community center. She brought the girls to the job. They wore tiny aprons and dabbed green on the wall. Landon stopped by on his lunch break. He didn't pick up a brush. He answered emails on the floor while Ren asked him how email worked. "Like letters flying," he said. She giggled. "Do they ever crash?" "Sometimes," he said. "Then we try again." The biggest test came when a tabloid tried to publish a photo of the girls. Someone had taken it with a long lens in the park. Landon's legal team prepared to fight. Autumn cried because she was tired of fighting. She sat on her couch, holding the printed draft like a piece of broken glass. "I can't live like this," she said. "I can't have them be news." Landon sat across from her. "Then we changed the story," he said. "We step out but not into their light. We step into our own. He took time off. They looked for a small house with a yard, not a mansion, not a fortress. A cottage with blue shutters and a swing on the porch that creaked. The owner was kind and liked kids. The yard was messy with dandelions. It was perfect. They moved with boxes marked by small hands and big letters. Toys, books, bunny. On the first night, they ate pizza on the floor and told the house their names so it would know who lived there. Landon did not move in. He kept his apartment, but he was there most evenings. He fixed the squeak in the cabinet and failed to fix the porch swing. The swing creaked anyway, and the girls thought the sound was funny. One golden evening in the backyard, after the herbs had grown bushy and the girls had built a fort out of sheets and chairs, Autumn sat with Landon on a blanket. The twins chased a butterfly, shrieking and laughing. A cat from next door wandered through the fence and let Wren pet it like a queen. Autumn looked at Landon's profile. The light made him look softer, but also clearer, like she could see the past and the future sitting together in his jawline. "Do you remember?" she asked, "the day I sent that message?" He nodded. "I remember thinking my life was about to get very simple or very complicated," he said. "I was wrong," she replied. "It got real." He turned to her. "Do you regret it?" he asked. She thought. She touched the blanket with her fingertips. "I regret the fear," she said, "but the fear taught me to ask for help. And asking for help brought you to our door." He reached for her hand. She did not pull away. Their fingers fit like they had been neighbors for a long time, and finally said hello. "Autumn," he said, "I love you." The words came steady, like a promise. She watched Laya trip, stand up, and keep running. She watched Wren kneel to speak to the cat with great seriousness. She looked back at him. "I love you too," she said. "Not because you fixed things, because you stayed." He smiled, and she saw the boy he once was, the one a kind coach helped. She saw the man he is now, helping back. That night, after the girls were tucked in, after the dishes were done, after the tea had gone cold on the table, Autumn pulled out her old sketchbook. She had started it long ago, and then put it away when life got heavy. She opened to a new page. She drew 4 figures in a garden, Leia chasing a butterfly, Wren holding a cat, Landon sitting on the grass reading, Autumn standing with her head tipped back, laughing. No worry lines, no headlines, just a family caught in a soft moment. When she was done, she wrote the title across the top. Single mom sent a desperate message to the wrong man. Then a millionaire knocked on her door saying, she smiled, because now she understood the end of that sentence. It did not end with a warning or a rule. It ended with a door opening and 4 people walking through it. Weeks later, on a cool evening with fairy lights strung along the fence, they had dinner outside. Leia told a long story about worms that used to be dragons, but retired. Wren said the cat meowed in French now. Landon cooked pasta with basil from their pots. Autumn leaned against his shoulder and felt the long road behind her and the bright road ahead. "I once thought being a single mom meant I had to give up on love," she said. "But I think I only gave up on fear." Landon nodded. "Love doesn't ask you to be less," he said. "It asks you to be real." She laughed. "That's a little cheesy." He grinned. "I know." The girls argued over the last piece of garlic bread, and then split it without being asked. Autumn felt something deep and clear, safe. Not because danger was gone. Danger still lived in the world, but safety now lived in her home too. It lived in steady hands, and shared chores, and soft words spoken in the kitchen when the kettle whistled. It lived in the way everyone looked for everyone else when it was time to leave the park. It lived in the porch swings creak, and the herb's sweet scent, and the pencil line of a drawing taped to the wall. Later, after story time and songs, after 2 cups of water and 1 extra trip to the bathroom, Autumn sat on the porch with Landon. The sky was dark blue. A single bright star hung above the roof. The swing creaked like an old friend telling a joke. She thought of the hint that had guided her through a storm. A single mom sent a desperate message to the wrong man. Then a millionaire knocked on her door saying, "We need to talk about the kids." It had sounded like a trap. It had felt like a cliff, but it had been a bridge. A bridge to doctors who listened, to air filters humming at night, to a lawyer who answered a scared call, to pancakes on Saturday, to basil that smelled like pizza and green, to small shoes on a bigger porch, to a love that did not promise no storms, but promised to hold the umbrella together. Autumn turned to Landon and whispered, "Thank you for knocking." He squeezed her hand. "Thank you for opening." Inside, two small girls slept, breathing easy. Outside, the night held them like a soft pocket. And that is how single moms sent a desperate message to the wrong man. Then a millionaire knocked on her door saying, "Stops being a headline and becomes a home." It becomes a lesson simple enough for a child and strong enough for a grown heart. Ask for help. Listen when help answers. Build a bridge. Cross it together. If it began with a wrong number, it ended with the right people at the right table, passing bread and telling stories while the porch swing sang its gentle song.